Lucky for you, we invent things to do. Like when we realized a livestock tank would float and thought, hey, it's a boat. And soon, tanking became our preferred mode of river travel. Might not get everyone's pulse racing like a jackhammer, but if it sounds good to you, welcome aboard. Nebraska. Honestly, it's not for everyone.
Come a-running, boys, don't you hear the noise? Like the thunder in the sky. How it rolls along in a good old song from the sons of Nebraska. Now it's coming near with a rising cheer that'll sweep all foes away. So with all our vim, we're about to win, and we're going to win today. In the days of old, Johnny Vanderbold would just take that ball in hand, and with Benedict right in front of him, they would set sail for the land. Then Doc Eager too, with a chosen few, would be all round everywhere. And before they'd quit, they would calmly sit down behind that goalpost there. For Nebraska and the Scarlet, for Nebraska and the Cream, though they go through many battles, our colors still are seen. And so in contest and in midstream, we will wave them for the team. And we'll always stir a corn husker, the Scarlet and the Cream.
I'm Jimmy.
Cheers. We are here live at Backswing Brewing talking Husker football. Kara, welcome. Cheers to you as well.
Yes.
All right, so we get a 34-3 victory over UNI. As we normally do and what we've been doing so far is we're going to talk about the offense, talk about the defense, talk about our overall thoughts. We'll talk about Illinois coming up on Friday night game, and then we'll talk about the Big Ten and how we did the rest of the game. So, again,
Absolutely.
we are live here at Backswing Brewing, Omaha Tap Room, about 132nd and Maple. So,
Eagle Run.
going down sometime and join us. So
Yes,
Jimmy,
sweet place. Yeah.
So
What's up?
I didn't get to watch much of the game. I was on the road listening to it. What'd you think?
We're 3-0 for the first time since 2016. I know a lot of people out there on social are, it's an FCS team and we didn't do this and we didn't do that and we should have dominated more. We should have scored more points, whatever. We've given up 20 points in 3 games.
Yes.
We've taken care of business in every facet of the game, and covered the spread. I mean, I don't know what more people want, The last 3 years, it's taken till week 6 for us to get 3 wins. So
100%.
we're 3-0 and we're ranked. That being said, I think we have some work to do. Getting into the Big Ten games. I mean, that was a bit – I heard somebody say yesterday when I was driving home after the game, I was listening to some of the after-game talk, and somebody said, it was kind of a transition game from our first 2 games to Big Ten play.
Yeah.
And I kind of liked how he said that.
Yeah.
It was, I know it was an FCS team, but it was more of a Big Ten style of a game. Big boys up front running the ball.
Yeah.
And, we couldn't get off the field on third downs at times. They had the really long drive, their first drive of the game that took almost the whole first quarter.
Yeah.
But we scored quick. We only gave up 3 points. We got a lot of players in, down toward the end. But overall, I was pretty happy with the game. It was a solid game. Rolo looked good. The run game looked pretty good. I mean, we probably could have been a little bit better, but pass game was really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, from what I did see and what I did hear, a couple of things that I realized in the game was kind of that bend, don't break defense on that first drive. I mean, they were humming. They were going downfield. They ran 16 plays and almost took the entire first quarter after we scored our touchdown on our first drive. And so, they know how to milk the clock and run the game, and they did a good job of pushing our defensive linemen around and getting the ball downfield. 16 plays. I mean, that's something you see Nebraska do.
Right.
And some of these other Big Ten teams do, is be able to run the ball, get the ball downfield quickly, but also very meticulously to where it takes a lot of time off the clock.
Well,
that was like a fourth quarter. We're winning the game. Let's run the clock down. and see what
there
we did.
was, I mean,
it was amazing.
I don't think they had any big plays on that drive. It was just, 4 yards here, 5 yards here, 3 yards here, 6 yards there. But it was kind of frustrating not being able to get off the field on third down a few times. But, they basically did what they wanted to do in that first drive, being they were getting first downs, moved the chains, and they were running the play clock down to almost 1 second every time. They were trying to shorten the game, which is their game plan. That's how they hang.
And which
That's
is
the only way they have a chance to win a game like that.
Mm-hmm.
And in years past, that game would have been closer still at the end of the third quarter, maybe even into the fourth quarter.
Possibly.
And then, we've seen a couple of those games slip away before. So not to an FCS team. We've never lost to an FCS team.
Yes.
But, even that McNeese State game, where Abdullah caught the touchdown right at the end. But I would say it was, again, kind of frustrating that we couldn't get off the field on third down, but we still only gave up points on that first drive.
Yeah, and I do think our defense tightened up a little bit after that because they were 6 for 16 on third downs, which again, percentage-wise, is defensively you want to do better, but still not bad. Also,
well, and most of those were probably on that first drive.
Yeah. So again, I think you take the good with the bad. We held them to 3 points, which is good. We had a lot of guys in at the very end of the game that you don't see on the field very often. We've seen him now through a few games, but one name I wanted to call was Mario Buford. I mean, that dude made a couple really good tackles, good hits. He saved the potential touchdown on that last drive as well. So, that was
the future's bright. When we see a lot of these guys, and hopefully, those guys getting those opportunities. The coaches get to see what they can do. They probably have so much fun getting into the game, and they want to show the older guys like, hey, you guys only give up 3 points. We don't want to give up any more. Exactly. And so hopefully those guys don't try to transfer away to get more playing time, and hopefully they can kind of stick it out and say, hey, if I stick around, I could be a Ty Robinson. I could be a Gifford or a Bullock. So. That's promising.
Yeah, agreed. Donnie, what's up, buddy?
Hey,
Casey, good to have you on. So Jason asked a question. He talked about, or not a question, but made a statement about having us with our backs against the wall. How we respond in a game like that where maybe it's a tighter game or maybe we're losing. That's going to be very interesting because right now we haven't been losing. We've been coming out on top and we've kept the lead. We haven't had to really press. And something that Matt Rule said in his post-game conference was, I want people to say we're kind of boring at the end of the game. That's what good teams are. They're boring at the end of the game. And that's something that is not a bad thing to have because if you're a boring team, that means you're winning games. And so, you watch some of the teams that are, maybe winning by a lot of points or even winning by 3 or 4 scores going into the fourth quarter. You get all the backups in, and it's just boring. Or they don't get backups in, but maybe they're just running the ball. They're milking the clock. They're not doing anything crazy. They're not aggressive. Now, I'm someone who wants to see that aggressive play.
Right.
I mean, Tennessee, hell, they kicked a onside kick when they're up 30-0, ended up winning 70-0 or something in the game. I mean,
71-0.
That's outrageous. Now, do I want to be that big of a dick? No, but I want to run it down people's throats and say, hey, we're contenders. But someone here, sorry, I can't remember who, it may have been Jason as well or Casey, but we are learning how to win still. Yeah, and Matt Rule said it too. Matt Rule said we are still a team learning how to win because this team has not won. They have not been winners. They have been winning little games, but especially let's win the big games.
Like a Ty Robinson, 6-year senior, those guys. And I mean, he's playing great.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw, I mean, you probably did, but last week when he sent that guy, coach, and then yesterday he went up and that was great. But no, they still are learning how to win.
Yeah. Lutovsky played well, so he came in for Mazuka or whatever.
Yeah, he was out.
Apparently he was out, and Rule didn't want to address why he wasn't playing.
But it was coach's decision.
He's still on the team, so again, this is the guy who wanted to throw hands with someone when he was with Florida last year.
Yeah,
so,
and he's a big dude, so I imagine something happened, but probably never know.
Yeah.
But hopefully it was just one game because we need him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially in a Big Ten game.
But Lutovsky's someone who's played. He's not he hasn't started a lot of games, but he has played a lot of games. So he came up in a big way and played well. So obviously not upset with what we saw.
And he honestly, I mean, trying to take anything away from him, but he's somebody that probably could have, because he's an Iowa kid. He probably could have gone to Northern Iowa and he could be a starter there, for a few years. So, cool that he's getting some reps, and a lot of guys getting in is good to see.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you look at what we did on offense. So, we had 281 passing yards. Raiola was 17 of 23 for 247 yards, 2 TDs. And the interception, again, I heard it on the radio, so I didn't get to see it. But even Jalen Lloyd said, I agree with the call. It was the right call. Because guess what? As a receiver, your job is to pull that in and hold on to the ball. So if you let someone rip it out of your hands and you lose possession, again, he's taking ownership and saying, that was the right call.
He probably could have had his hands up a little bit higher and caught it, but he kind of let it come in.
Catch, kind of?
He kind of let it come in, and then it was just like they rolled over and it landed on the defender's chest, and then it was impossible to overturn at that point. It was a great throw. Yeah. And I mean, Dylan only had 6 incompletions. Unfortunately, a couple of them, one was on a 4th down.
Yep.
Because we decided to go for it on 4th instead of kick a field goal, which I thought was interesting. I agreed with it at the time. Fortunately, yes, we did kick 2 field goals. We can get to that.
We will. Yeah.
But he had somebody open on that, and really probably could have been caught for 1st down, but 6 incompletions, and you really can't be upset about that. Unfortunately, it was just 3 of them were inopportune times to where we probably should have put up touchdowns on those drives.
Yeah.
We should probably put up 50 points in that game. So
yeah, when I told you when we got here, Raiola, he's the first freshman quarterback since Marcus Mariota to be, after 3 games, have 70% or more completion percentage. So, I mean, that, again, we know what we can see on the field. Raiola is still someone who has a lot of confidence and is eager to win. The kid wants to win. He wants to bring Nebraska back to winning. So, I think that's a good thing. He is a baller. Absolutely, Donnie. 100% a baller. So, and again, what I find really funny is people are giving him such a hard time on how he mimics Mahomes. And he's going too far. Well, everybody that's saying that are all the opponents and the people that don't like Nebraska. Guess what?
Yeah, who cares?
Get your own identity. He works out with Mahomes. He knows Mahomes. Mahomes doesn't. Obviously, Mahomes is probably flattered by it. But Michael Jordan. I was Michael Jordan.
How many people wore the number?
I had a North Carolina Jordan jersey.
How many people wore the number 23 because of Jordan?
Yeah.
How many?
And look at the same thing, LeBron James.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
I mean, look at football.
Kobe mimicked Michael.
Oh yeah, exactly. Look at your guys like Reggie Bush, Tom Brady. People want to be like the greats, and so he looks up to Mahomes. I think that's a great thing for a kid to have an idol and someone that he wants to be like and play like.
And you know what? He backs it up.
He does. He plays well, and he still makes some throws like Mahomes too. So,
I mean, there's times when he looks like a freshman at times.
Yeah.
But honestly, majority of the time, he looks smooth and polished. I don't know if you saw the replay he should have gotten sacked, and he escaped it, and then he threw a 59-yard pass or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. It's crazy. Even just watching, with some family yesterday, and they're like, man, it's so much more, just having a quarterback makes that big of a difference.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm through the roof about this kid. The sky's the limit, really.
Kobe, so not a bad guy to mimic. Even Kobe said he was better because he mimicked Jordan. If you're mimicking the best guy in the game, it's because you probably want to be the next best or be better. And so, how many people yelled Kobe? I mean, I was always a Jordan guy, Casey, so I was like Jordan, not Kobe, but that's just me. But again, he backs it up. He's got moxie. He's got a lot of, as Panger would say, gumption.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that just goes out and he backs up his play. And
he gets the fans going, and
he doesn't talk. He doesn't talk.
No,
he is not someone who's going to pride himself and be like, I'm the best. He talks about his team. He talks about the guys in front of him. And I think that's probably why I respect his play so much, is because, and you see there's a lot of quarterbacks like this in the league, don't get me wrong. But obviously, as the Husker fan, watching him talk about the way his teammates help him and how they're making him be a better quarterback is why, as a freshman, he has such a big upside because he understands that it's not me that's going to win these games. It's our team. It's the guys that I'm handing the ball off to, I'm throwing the ball to, that are blocking for me, and it's our defense that are going to help us win.
Well,
so he's not a cocky guy. And a lot of times quarterbacks are pretty full of themselves and think a lot of themselves, but he doesn't talk that way, and so it doesn't come out.
Well, and I like the play calling more than I have in the past. Like
100%.
You know, early on we're kind of, you know, maybe doing a little swing pass or whatever where you got somebody in open space.
Yeah.
Running the ball. I mean, Dowdell ran hard right off the bat.
Yep.
He didn't get as many carries yesterday as he had been, I guess. But but then, you know, we're taking deep shots and we're hitting on those. And, you know, Carter Nelson.
Hell yeah.
God, that was
him and Ja'Cory Barney both getting
their first touchdowns. I mean, awesome. Like, how awesome is that? And I saw an interview of Carter Nelson getting his first touchdown. He was so excited. He said it was better than he could have imagined.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. At home.
Yeah.
Night game. I mean, come on, man. It doesn't get any better than that.
It was awesome, too.
I saw that play. We were eating after golfing a lot. So we were eating. So I saw that play, and I saw the replay of Ja'Cory Barney. Again, we're getting freshmen in the game in the first half, the first quarter even, and they are producing. I didn't think we'd see Carter Nelson this early.
No.
I didn't think, but
like I thought we might redshirt him, but
I feel like we're getting him.
I don't know if we will.
I feel like we're getting comfortable. We're getting him comfortable with the offense early in these games. So when it comes to Big Ten play, we're going to be able to see a little bit more.
And maybe we will still redshirt him. Maybe we just got him in a game like that. But I don't know. He's pretty electric. So
yeah. And we, you know, as someone asked about Dalton Raiola or Dayton. So Dayton, yes, I've heard a lot of good things about him and his style of play and how good he is.
He had a sweet touchdown throw on Friday.
But yes, we still have, you know, hopefully 4 full years with his brother and getting
For
Dylan to play 4 years. But anyways, it's been a great first 3 games. Talk a little bit more about the offense here so we don't get too lost. And someone did say we're going to talk about special teams. Don't worry, we'll get there.
Yes.
So continue with the offense. So again, Emmett Johnson, that 36-yard TD run towards the end of the game.
Oh, it was a great run.
They probably still have their first team in, I'd imagine. Maybe not, but either way,
hard to say.
Still a hell of a good run.
Yeah.
So that anybody that bet the line at 30.5,
Mike,
congratulations, Percival. You get your line bet, but it's 30.5
too.
And Brevin
said he cut the first half.
And hopefully you bet the under.
17 or 17.5 in the first half.
Hopefully you bet the under. But then again, Ja'Cory Barney, that 10-yard TD run, it's just something you would like to see from some of these young guys. Emmett Johnson's was a sophomore. Junior, maybe?
One of the two.
Emmett Johnson's a stud too, and it's something I want to see more of him.
And something that I don't want to get too deep into it, but Heinrich Harburg came into the game, and it wasn't just the Heinrich Harburg led offense that we saw last year. Are you
talking about him coming in as a quarterback or coming in as a running back, as a fullback, as a receiver?
I mean, he did all that. But when he came in at quarterback, they didn't just do quarterback run, option, that type of stuff. Like, they ran the offense, and he threw some pretty good passes. Like, it was very, very promising to see.
3 for 3, 34 yards.
I mean, that's not anything to.
It was at the end of the game, though.
But it was a great drive that he led.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of Heinrich Harburg. Even as a quarterback, I still liked him as a quarterback. He didn't have the arm to be a quarterback when you need an arm to be a quarterback. He could run the ball great. He's someone who's going to bulldoze over guys. But catching a pass, what was the reception on it? Was it like 10 or 11 yards, something like that?
Honestly, I don't think I saw when he caught the pass.
I think it was
because I think somebody said somebody said, "Oh, that was Harburg," and I was like, "Harburg caught the pass?"
Yeah,
but I got babies that I was taking care of at the time.
You were a little busy. Yeah, so I mean, he catches a pass. He's out there, potentially as a blocker as well. Like, it was insane to see how they got him in the game, and to me, that was really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't want to go too deep with it, but I guess the crowd went nuts when he came in.
It was 8 yards, 8-yard pass.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, it's just, I don't know.
But he said before the season started, he goes, "I'm not a starting quarterback, but any way you can get me in the game, I'm down." He wants to play.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to make an impact on the team. He wants to be a player on the team that's going to come out there and make a difference and help us win games. And again, he was lined up in a power package in the backfield. I don't know if it was a diamond formation. Again, I was still on the radio call, but they're like, look at the package in the backfield. Like, that is something that's pretty awesome, and you love to see the power package. So I don't know what it was. So if you guys saw that, if it was the diamond, I'm going to go nuts because that's my favorite formation. And outside of the I formation, the power form, the diamond's probably my favorite.
Well, and unfortunately, at that point in time in the game, it was, we were going to win the game. Mm-hmm. So I went to a few other duties that I had to, fatherly duties I had to take care of. So I didn't get to see everything.
Hoop
but yeah, probably. But
diaper duty.
No, it's just cool to see.
Yeah. But again, he's getting in the game still. I'm kind of curious to hear your thoughts on this, Jimmy. Okay. And anyone listening right now. Andy Kalen. So we're 3 games into the season. We haven't seen him yet.
Right.
We haven't seen him in the game. We saw our 4th string quarterback come in. But what are your – and honestly, I haven't heard anything on Kalen. I haven't read anything on whether or not he's still learning the playbook or if he's just not up to speed. I don't know. So I'm curious to see what your thoughts are on why he hasn't played yet in these games where you can probably get into the 4th quarter.
I was actually talking to Sturge about it yesterday. I don't know either. Okay. I don't know. I said yesterday, I was really shocked that he didn't come in that UTEP game. Mm-hmm. We brought, the other kid in that
Grandstad or something.
Whatever.
Yeah. He was fun to watch too.
Yeah. I mean, that was cool. And maybe that was just it.
He was a senior too.
And, maybe we just haven't seen him yet because, I don't know, they're just trying to get Dylan as many kind of reps as we can. And then Harburg is obviously the clear backup.
Yeah. And
so we want to have both of those guys getting as many reps as they can. I have not heard anything about him or read anything about him.
Yeah.
I guess my hope is that they said, hey, we're going to redshirt you, obviously. And just learn as much as you can, take in as much as you can. Yeah. And we'll see where it goes down the road. I hope he's not a kid that transfers, but it could happen.
But I imagine it's hard coming in. You're a freshman coming in, pretty highly touted freshman too, and another freshman comes in, and that's a tough battle to think about. And then you lose the battle. Not only that, do you lose the battle, but now you're also 3rd string. And we talk about this sometimes too. When it comes to these high school kids, they might be one of the best in their state. They might be the best in their high school division. But then you get to college, you're no longer the best. You're no longer number 1. And how do you deal with that adversity as a freshman when you're 18 years old, 19 years old, and you have to compete with someone your age and you're not winning when at your school maybe you did and you were the best.
Right.
And so I do think the redshirt. I have no doubt about that. I kind of figured they were going to do that anyways. But with Dylan there, as long as Dylan's there, unless he gets hurt and Heinrich gets hurt or he's really bad, and that's the only way he's going to move into a backup position. Right. And so his outlook, he might be thinking, what else is out there for me? Again, I don't remember his offers outside of Nebraska.
He committed to Missouri first.
Okay. So, again, is that still something that he's thinking about? I have no idea. But I'm interested to see – I would love to see him in a game at some point. But now we're getting back into our Big Ten play for the rest of the season. It's like, are we actually going to see him? What's up, Mikey?
Hey, there we go, Mike. Cheers, buddy.
So I didn't know if we haven't really talked about it much. It's been kind of a blip on our radar, but I think it's a blip that needs to be talked about more. Cause
I'm sure Rule sat down with him and just said, hey, Dylan is the guy, but we need you to take in as much as you can, learn as much as you can, and he could be a solid backup in next year and beyond.
And I think about look at we talked Green Bay's on right now, and Malik Willis is back up to Jordan Love, and now Jordan Love gets hurt. Malik Willis is playing. He's been out of the league for this is his 3rd year. In the pro area. So now he's the starting quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. It's all about, do you wait for your time?
Right.
A little bit different in the NFL, but he's had to wait. He's had to learn. And guess what? They're winning.
Right.
And they're winning a game. It's like he's the one leading that team. So is that what Kalen's hoping to do? Is just learn and then have a better chance maybe next year?
I'd say if I were him, I would at least stick around for another year, maybe even 2, because he could still have 2 years to play after that.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, good pickup. So Dylan, let's say he plays 3 years.
Plays 3 years.
And Kalen has 2 years to play.
Yep.
And Casey, I appreciate it. So Rule said that he's got 2 future first-round picks in our quarterback room. So
both those guys were Elite 11 quarterbacks.
Yeah. So I'd be really, really interested to see what happens with Kalen. But, again, would love to see him in the game. Again, he's not talked about ever because obviously he's third string.
He was – I mean, I saw him.
Yeah.
I saw him on the when they went to a timeout or something. So hopefully he's just learning as much as he can.
Yep. So when Harburg goes to the NFL, which I would love to see him in the NFL, the dude's got the size for it. What position, man?
Maybe a tight end.
He could be a tight end, or he could be like your what's his name from the Saints?
Taysom Hill.
Yeah, Taysom Hill. He could be a Hill type guy where he gets the ball and just bulldozes guys over.
Yeah.
So
like a goal line fullback or something.
Yeah, maybe. So
I don't know.
I just love the guy because he has that football spirit, that football attitude where, hey, I want to get the ball and just run you over.
He's like a freak athlete.
And we've known that since he's got.
And that's why they put him out there with Dylan, because I mean, you got an athlete like that.
Well, then you have some confusion too. Like, is he going to pass the ball?
Exactly.
Is he going to run the ball? Is he
just a decoy?
Because there was one of the times.
One time he just went out and they went the other way, and I think
they snapped it to him, and Raiola ran out. In motion, and they snapped it to Harburg, and it was a run play with Harburg.
Okay.
But they did something crazy. I'm like, you could throw off so many defenses because now they see that, and I'm guessing they probably have like 30 plays where they bring Harburg in and have Raiola in to screw up with the defense, and they saw like 3 plays yesterday. So anybody that's watching film, they're like, oh, we got to prepare for this. No, you probably have to prepare for like 30 different plays that they're going to run with both them on the field. And to me, as a defensive coordinator, you're like, what the hell do we plan for when he comes in? Is he going to hand it off? Is he going to be a lead blocker, like a fullback in the power I formation? Like, can you imagine him leading a lead blocker? He would destroy people. He'd be breaking arms like Dowdell did. I mean, I just to me, it's so exciting to have a guy that can come in and be a multi-talented athlete and do so much on the field for you, and then keep the defense guessing. And we're going to need that in Big Ten play, which, again, we'll talk about that here in a little bit with our upcoming battle against Illinois.
For sure.
But, again, the other thing I had on offense was just Isaiah Nair and Nelson TD catches were fantastic. Isaiah Nair made a great catch. Kind of a low throw, but he went down for it, caught it, and got in the end zone.
It was. Nelson's TD was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
And we just have so many guys out there, I think, probably the most
Barney's
talented.
TD was awesome.
Corey Barney's TD was awesome. We have a very talented team altogether. Our offensive firepower is what we've never seen before. For me, it's fun. It's exciting. On the defensive side of the ball. We finally got to see a little bit more of Gifford on the field and making an impact on
10 tackles, right?
Yeah, 10 tackles on the field, which we haven't really heard a lot of him over the last couple games, but we heard his name called a lot in this game, which to me, the guy's got the heart of a lion, and he's going to be dangerous.
And he's going to be having more tackles because that was, like I said, it's more of a Big Ten style of game. Run for 4 yards every play kind of a thing. He was all over the place.
Now, again, defensively, what I would have liked to see a little bit more were more tackles for a loss and more sacks.
Right.
When you run the ball, that's hard.
Sacks, they ran the ball so much, and when they did throw it, they threw quick. I mean, or we got pressure on their quarterback and blew him up a couple times.
Yeah.
Like
we did hit him hard.
I don't know if it was Cam Lenhart or Princewell, one of them blew him. They blew the running back up that was trying to block and like into the quarterback and blew them both up.
Cam Lenhart had some good hits in that game. And that was kind of nice too because we weren't able to get Jamari Butler to play.
Right. And Bayer was out for the first half. So, I mean, that kind of showed too because he's been a force.
So that shows our depth at defense.
And obviously we're still good, but we didn't get as much pressure as I would have liked.
Yeah.
But their quarterback was getting it out quick.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and again, he knows he had to. If you watched anything in the Colorado game, he's like, I don't want to be Shedeur and have my back on the turf.
Oh, their offensive line was so much better than Colorado's.
Well, because they have to recruit guys that are good in the run game and can protect. So they got to be able to recruit pretty big guys there too.
Yeah.
But it was nice to have that depth come in and be able to contribute. Jamari Butler out due just to getting beat up a little bit last week. He was dressed, he was ready to go, went through all the warm ups, and they said, you know what, if I don't have to play him, I want to hold him off to a Big Ten play to where he's going to come out and make a difference. So I was okay with that.
So Casey says, Bullock, he's starting to be like your second favorite player behind Robinson. So Bullock, our moms actually taught both the Bullock brothers, and my parents' neighbors, they have kids. One of the kids sent a letter to John Bullock, and the Bullock brothers came to the house and gave him signed gloves.
Nice.
And
that's badass.
And then my mom obviously taught him, so then they were talking to him.
That's funny.
So that was really cool. I'm like, man, nice kid, really cool to do that.
Yeah.
And he's a freaking force on the field too. He really filled that spot. Luke Reimer was really good for a few years.
Yeah.
Last year he didn't have his best year. I thought he was better a couple seasons before, but John Bullock really filled that spot.
Oh yeah, and he's a stud. And he got talked about after the Colorado game too. And Carricker is a big fan of Bullock and how much he's contributed on the defensive side of the ball. And he's just, talk about just a knowledgeable dude who just, again, kind of like ball hawk, makes you think of kind of like a Garrett Nelson.
Yeah,
but better. And Garrett Nelson, I absolutely love Garrett Nelson, but
right.
I think the IQ, the football IQ on defense is just a little bit higher with Bullock and his ability to adjust to plays and adjust to the schemes that the offenses are running. The dude's just so smart.
Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous that, some of the Big Ten teams are going to watch that film from that game and see kind of what Northern Iowa did on, the 16-play drive or the 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7 that they were, 3rd and 4 that they were getting. We're going to have to make some adjustments. We're going to have to be a little bit better.
Yep.
Maybe a little bit of a defensive letdown after they were so hyped up last week.
Yeah.
But they still only gave up 3 points.
Yeah. And I will say, you look at what we've done early on from a defensive side of the ball, and you talk about Big Ten play. There are very few Big Ten teams who run an offense like that. It's Iowa. It's Wisconsin. Those are the only 2 other teams who are going to march down the field in that type of offensive scheme and continually run the ball and try to run it down your throat, do little screen passes to tight ends. Those are the only 2 other teams I can think of in the Big Ten right now that is their style.
Illinois might do it a little bit.
They do have a really good run game. We'll get to that here in a little bit. They do have a really good run game, but they also have a passing game. So I don't think that's going to be their bread and butter. They're not going to be able to run 16 plays on us and us not stop them, in my opinion. So
I agree.
Yes. So, well, let's get to defense. So, thank you. Defense, we're doing fine. 20 points is not bad.
20 points in 3 games. Insanely good.
Again, Hartzog got a pick. Malcolm Hartzog is having a great year. A lot of people are kind of questioning Malcolm Hartzog in his coverage because we've seen him get blown by.
He got burned on the UTEP game.
No corner, no DB is going to be perfect in every game, and you learn from those things. The guy he's got a lot of heart, and he just keeps attacking the ball. I love it. Yeah, he's got 2 interceptions so far this year, 5 total in his career.
And we've only given up 2 touchdowns on defense.
Yeah.
So
and we've given up 10 points in the first quarter, 0 in the second quarter, and 10 points in the second half.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So that's pretty good. And if you think about it, at that point, we had a lot of second string guys in the game. I'm not even mad about it. Again, 20 points in 3 games. That's amazing. Like that's even teams that are playing FCS and low-level FBS opponents or SWAC teams, whatever, they're giving up more points. Troy put up 21 against Iowa yesterday. They were leading by 4 points a half. Like Nebraska's fine. So you can freak out about that 16-play drive all you want, but Nebraska's fine.
Yeah,
and they're a great defense. And to me, it's still a top 5 defense in the country. excited about Mario Buford. Talked about that. Has some really great tackles. Saved a touchdown at the end of the game. They almost called targeting on him, and they re-looked at the play like, nah, it's not targeting.
No, it was not.
Special teams, we got 2 field goals. I think it was great that we put in Albano.
Yep.
We didn't try anything too crazy. We didn't go over aggressive, and we got him an opportunity to get comfortable. So he had like a 21-yard and a 31-yard kick. Again,
Nothing
2 for 2 on the
crazy,
field goals. Nothing too much. It's not pressure for him. He needs to make those kicks, and he did. So it was good to see that. Hopefully he's gaining some more confidence, and that's what games like this I think is going to help him, is when we get in position where, hey, we're just going to try to run a few plays. We don't score, that's fine, but let's get you out into a field goal position to where you can make some kicks. And
I kind of wish it would have been more of like a 45-yarder, and so, like a 45 to 50-yarder that he would have made, because in some of the Big Ten games that we have coming up, we're going to need him to make a 45, 47-yard, 45-yard field goal. 100%. There's going to be a spot in the game where we need him to make a 45-yard field goal before half, or late in the third quarter, middle of the fourth quarter. Yep. We're going to need that. So
100%.
Yeah, I hope that happens. That's all I can really say about it.
Yeah, Casey was funny. Like, how the hell did they even throw that flag? It's fun. It's funny because I listened to the guys on the radio at the time. I was driving back from where I was at, and I'm hearing on the radio, and they're like, he dove to try to catch the ball. He wasn't hitting the guy maliciously. Like, they're gonna pull up this flag. So I'm glad they did. I didn't see it, but
we were just talking about it before. They called targeting and went to commercial, and I'm like, okay. And then they came back and they showed it, and we're all like, oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it was, I don't know, again, some of the plays, they go into review. It's like, how do you even throw the flag? They called a pass interference play, but then like, oh, the ball was thrown behind the line of scrimmage, so there's no pass interference. And the guys on the radio are like, maybe a hold, but not PI.
That was an interesting one. So I guess I didn't really know the rule until I did a little bit more research on it. But so obviously, if you throw, or if you run the ball, or if you throw a screen pass, or if you throw a pass behind the line of scrimmage, then the receivers can block. They're going to block, right? But past a certain yardage, you can't physically engage your hands on somebody before, like, while the ball is in the air.
Yes.
And so, but he caught it behind the line of scrimmage.
Yes.
But he was coming across the middle. He came up and across the middle. So when he caught it, they thought it was kind of close. It was like right at the line, but they reviewed it and said he was behind the line. So,
but what's really funny to me, like, not only did they take away the pass interference, which was half distance of the goal, put us like to 11-yard line, they gave us the first down. They didn't even call holding, and the guys on the radio, like, I thought they might call holding, but that's good. They don't take anything away, so we get a first down.
Honestly,
we go from the 11 to like the 42 or something.
Honestly, that was another thing. They could have called quite a few holds on Northern Illinois' offense, or Northern Iowa's offense, especially like some of those like 3rd and 7s, and they barely got it. Anyway, not a big deal.
So first of all, we talked about the interception. You joined late, maybe be on time next time, but I didn't see it because I was in the car. According to Jalen Lloyd, he said they made the right call. He's like, I didn't pull in the catch. I didn't hold on to it. The guy ripped it out of my hands. We got down.
One of those, like we said, that you missed, Mike. I guess you'll just have to go back and rewatch it. But no, if they would have called it a catch on the field, it would have been a catch after review. If they called it an interception, it was going to be an interception because no way to overturn it.
And my guy, we're at Backswing Brewing. It's always cold beer. Always cold beer.
It's good today.
It is good beer. It's always good beer. So let's talk about, again, overall, to me, again, I needed to watch a lot of it. I heard majority of it, watched a little bit of it, got most of fourth quarter in. But it's a good win. Obviously, we need to tighten some things up in the second half. I think we need to play a little more aggressive. I'd like to see some more scoring in the second half. But we did put up, 13 in the second half yesterday. So it wasn't empty. We didn't come out empty-handed in the second half, which is good. So improvement from the last couple of games. But I do want to see more aggressive play because, again, when we hit the Big Ten play starting Friday, we can't not score in the second half unless we score like 40 points in the first half, which we can do.
We definitely can.
But I don't want to have to rely on a first half performance
Well,
to save us from losing a second half.
And I think so far we haven't needed to, right? We haven't needed to score. But with the way that Dylan has, ran this offense, I think that we'll be fine at any point in time. We'll be able to score.
And thinking
as long as we can hold on to D. I mean, even if we're down by 14 points in the fourth quarter, I think we could still come back in that game.
Absolutely. I feel better about coming back and winning a game than ever before just because of our offensive weapons.
Really true.
But again, you look at what we did yesterday. Dylan only played 3 possessions in the second half, which also tells you the time of possession for both teams in the second half was pretty extensive because he played some of the fourth quarter, just not all of it.
I think we only had 4 possessions in the first half.
That's insane.
4 or 5.
That's crazy. But, we gave up some yards, over 300 yards. They had over 100 yards rushing, but their average was like 3 yards. So, again, we talked
their
about
average
it.
Like 3.6 or something.
I think we
like
talked
that.
about it after our first game. Like, if you're getting 4 or 5 yards per rush, even 3 yards per rush isn't terrible. But when that's your bread and butter and you keep running, you feel a lot more comfortable on those 3rd and short or even 4th and short that you might run it again. And so that bend, don't break mentality is fine as long as you're not giving up touchdowns. And we didn't.
Yeah, I mean,
even end of the game, they could have scored a touchdown and screwed Mike and Brevin over on the spread. But luckily, Mario Buford was right there to stop them.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. So, Kara, good point. So, they did look a lot like us in that first quarter, just running the ball, controlling the clock. 100%. And we finished last week and finished this week. We did what we needed to do to win the game, which I think right now, again, learn how to win games the right way when we don't have to be aggressive in the second half.
For sure.
That's a good thing. I'm happy about that if we don't have to be aggressive. That means we're doing everything right in the first half of the game. So now we have Illinois coming up. And by the way, don't listen to the guys on TV talking about Raiola for Heisman. Ignore that noise. I don't think he needs to hear it for one. And I don't think it's good for him just because he's not a Heisman candidate right now. He's good. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of really good ball players in the country. A lot of guys that are older than him.
We'll get there.
Playing really good football.
We might get there in a year or two, but
yeah, I would love to see it because they did the same thing with Adrian Martinez. Yep. Heisman candidate going in sophomore year, like he's a Heisman finalist. If he plays like he did his freshman year, and then we had part that's coaching, but things didn't go well from there. We all know that story.
Coaching is a lot better than
it was. But let's talk about Illinois. So Illinois also 3-0.
They just ranked them, and
they did.
24th,
they're now
so we'll be
24th.
22nd. We moved up a spot. Illinois jumped in 24th.
So we got a top 25 matchup. Which, we need to be the top 25 team.
Yeah.
we haven't done it in quite some time, so this is the time to do it.
We'll have to look that up and see when the last time we beat a top 25 team was. Probably Michigan State. We always seem to beat them.
Yeah. But, it's Illinois is one of those teams that is always a little tricky because Illinois tends to have a lot of speed, a lot of athleticism, but where they lack is their quarterback play.
Right.
It makes me think a lot about Nebraska over the past 4 or 5 years. We have a quarterback. We have a run game. We have skilled players with a lot of speed, but we don't have a quarterback that controls the game. Although I do think our quarterback play wasn't that bad, but they really do not have a great quarterback to run that offense. Their defense plays pretty well. Their defense is fast. Their defense is athletic, and their running backs are good.
That'll be the best defense we see. So we're going to have to be clicking, some of the, missed throws or drops. Can't happen. The offensive line's going to have to play strong.
Yep.
The run game's going to have to be, great, which it has been.
Yeah.
Dowdell's been running hard. All the other guys that have come in have been great too. So, yeah, I'm excited for the game, except that it's on Friday night. I hate Friday night games.
Yeah, but at the same time, it opens
also-
up your whole day Saturday to watch a ton of football and not have to worry.
Oh.
And hopefully we win, so we have to worry about it.
that. But yeah, no, it's tough because obviously you can't get recruits there because high school plays Friday night.
Yep.
Kara's,
there's poor planning on the high school for the kids. I got homecoming, so
yeah, that's what
Horrible
I
planning.
mean. It's the 400th sellout, which is cool.
Yeah.
And that kind of sucks that it's on a Friday night because I'm sure there's a lot of, season ticket holders that have been for years that don't want to go to a Friday night game, and it's the 400th sellout.
And I would love to be there.
I would love to be there too, but I can't.
We won't be there.
I will not be there.
We're still planning on going to the Rutgers game, so everyone knows. So if you're going to be in town, you want to go hang out with us and tailgate with us, we're going to be grilling some food.
Have they announced the time yet? Last time I checked.
Nope. No, it has not. It's probably going to be after this game, after we beat Illinois. They'll tell us when we're going to play. It doesn't matter if
I
it's
hope
11
it comes
o'clock.
out today. I don't want it to be 11. I want it to be 2:30.
Listen, it can be 11. It can be 2:30. It can be 6:30. I don't care. I'm drinking. We're grilling. We're going to have a lot of fun. So you're going to –
I really hope it's not a night game because that'll be a rough night with twins. Anyway.
Well, I'll do the majority of the drinking then, and you can – and then you can drive me home. How about that? So Illinois this Friday.
I'm not going down there not drinking, brother.
I didn't say don't drink. I said you can drive me home because I'm going to be the one drinking more. So this is just going to be a lot of fun, though. Oh, November 2nd, Twins' 16th birthday, planning a birthday tailgate party. Kara,
nice.
You better invite two average guys because we might just show up and crash that party and have a great time. So we'd love it.
16. Too bad it's not the 21st. We could really tear it up with them.
We're not a very good influence on kids that cannot drink.
Yeah, probably not.
Know what Jimmy went through on his 21st. I was there for that.
That's true.
I blame his dad for that more than me, just FYI. So, Mike, yes. Well, I do want to mention TCU. TCU was up 34-7 on UCF. And they lost that game.
I know. Then my college pick 'em, I picked them, and I was kind of mad that they blew it. But I'm still in first place, so it's all good.
It's hilarious that they blew it.
Yeah, I can't believe that they did.
Hilarious. How do you lose a 34-7? How do you lose that game?
I don't know how South Carolina lost to LSU either. They really blew that one,
yeah,
too.
South Carolina was in control majority of that game. It was close, a lot of back and forth. But in the end, LSU came out on top. And then you also had, again, Iowa and Troy. Troy hung in there. Troy was up at halftime. And then second half, Troy just – and I can't talk crap about Iowa almost losing to Troy because we lost to
Troy.
Iowa's also lost to Troy before. This would not be their first time losing to Troy. They have a trophy case, essentially, of teams they've beaten over the years that
kind of like Northern Illinois.
Yes. And then we got Mississippi State losing to Toledo. They paid them $1.2 million, and Toledo came and beat them by like 24 points. They didn't just beat them. They beat them by 24 points.
Dang, I didn't know it was like that bad.
It wasn't even close. So, I mean, to me, that's football.
I know Cal went in and beat Auburn last week at Auburn.
Yeah. I mean, Auburn's just taken kind of a long tailwind of a dip since that run back on the field goal. I mean, really, they haven't been great since then.
And let's be real. Florida State, 0-3.
Oh, God.
They've lost 4 games since getting left out, 4 in a row since getting left out of the playoff.
How brutal is that? Like, is Mike Norvell on the hot seat?
To be honest, that game was in our college pick'em this week, and I took Memphis.
Smart. Well, Memphis is a team that a lot of people are thinking outside of your Power 5 are going to be in the playoff.
They could.
They're one of the front runners.
I only watched
them and Boise State are like your top 2 picks.
Yeah.
Oh, Casey, good point. Yeah, starting quarterback for South Carolina got hurt. I forgot about that. But I mean,
but they still were up, and they got what should have been a pick 6 to seal the game, and they blew the quarterback up.
Yeah. But I think that says a lot more about LSU than it does South Carolina. LSU is just not. Again, SEC is going to tout. We got all these powerhouses,
right? Because they have like 5 of the top 6 teams in the rankings.
Yeah.
but all the other teams are not good.
Yeah.
But what they're going to do is they're going to sneak Texas A&M in at 25th in the rankings.
Yes, they did.
Like they did.
Hey, that's
Instead
okay.
of-
We can talk about with
I
Rex
know.
next week. We'll talk about him in a little bit.
I know, but actually that is cool. But instead of putting in a Memphis or a Pitt or an Indiana or somebody else that's 3-0, they're going to put in a team that has a loss. What do
you have Group 5 in?
No, I'm talking about into the to the 25th spot in the rankings this week. I know it's essentially meaningless, but they do that because
they didn't blow him up.
No, I know he did, but no, they always sneak those SEC teams in that are like 3 or 4 losses into the top 25, so it makes all the other SEC teams look better.
Are you ready? Are you ready for my bitching about the preseason rankings?
Good
Lord,
sure.
This is why
Florida State was a top 10 team.
This is why the preseason rankings drive me absolutely insane, because you have not played a game yet. Yet they look into your last season, they look into your recruits coming in, how you recruited, your recruiting class to put you in the rankings. The SEC is always going to be in there. Guess what? Now they have money, a lot of money, along with some of the Big Ten teams, a lot of money. But guess what? Kansas ranked in the top 20. They've lost 2 in a row now. They lost again this weekend.
They lost to UNLV.
They lost to UNLV at home.
Right.
You can't do that. And now you have
Florida State. That was
Notre Dame.
number 9.
Notre Dame.
Yeah, they rolled. They lost it last week.
They rolled Purdue
yesterday.
But what I'm saying, like, you put these teams in the top 25, but we don't know how good they are. We have no idea how good they are.
Well, and you know what's funny is Alabama, they didn't have ranked as high as they normally do, and they're actually really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jalen Milroe is insane.
Yeah. I mean, and Wisconsin was going to get rolled in that game to me, no matter who.
Right.
Alabama, to me, and Wisconsin.
That 17-year-old freshman receiver that Alabama has.
Oh, yeah.
Insane.
And Wisconsin is not very good right now. Luke Fickell.
They're really not.
Luke Fickell has a lot of work to do with
that
team.
And their quarterback got hurt on the first drive, and so they had a backup. And at one point in time, they did lead. He did lead them on a touchdown drive. Their defense plays.
They're
pretty stout at times.
They're not the Wisconsin we've been seeing for the last since 2010.
They really are. Like we should beat them.
Yeah.
We really should beat them.
The best part about KU losing is I was actually on a golf trip for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and so we're watching the game on Friday, and my brother-in-law Chris is a big KU fan, and his buddy Fred, big KU fan, and so we're watching the game with another 20 guys while we're figuring out who won money in all these betting games, and we're watching the game, and just the sadness on his face of like, we suck. Not as good as they thought we were. I mean, he was so disappointed in Chris. I'm sorry, you're not going to watch anyways. I know you don't watch me because I talk shit on KU. But it's too bad that, they couldn't win that game. And Wisconsin is just, again, not the same Wisconsin. And it is different ball, Casey. The way Alabama plays, the way Wisconsin historically plays, very different ball. What we've talked about is how Big Ten matches up against the SEC. It's always a good game. I don't know if Alabama would have wiped the floor if we had your, the running that we've seen where guys are setting records with Dane Cook and all those other guys.
Right. I mean,
rushing records. But Luke Fickell's got a lot of work to do. They're kind of in shambles right now, if you ask me. Even though they got one loss, but they're just struggling.
When their backup quarterback came in, they really couldn't do anything on offense. I'm not sure they would have been able to really do much on offense anyway.
Yeah.
But what I noticed about them is because I watched a fair amount. I watched a fair amount of that game.
Yeah.
They had a backup quarterback in. You know what they did? They ran the ball on first down. They ran the ball on second down. And then it'd be 3rd and 7, and they would try to pass. And it was just so predictable.
Did they run the same play twice in a row like Nebraska has done before?
I'm not sure that they did that, but it was just everything they did was predictable.
Yeah. But this is why those first 3 weeks are so critical, because you do have some matchups. It's like LSU Notre Dame. That's a big matchup in your first 3 weeks. Yeah,
Was it Texas A&M Notre Dame?
Yeah, sorry, Texas A&M Notre Dame. That's a big matchup.
LSU and USC.
LSU, USC.
That's a big matchup.
And then you got Texas, Michigan. Like, these are games of the first 3 weeks that it's so early on. Is that really the team that you are now?
Right.
Compared to the team you're going to be in week 5, 6, 7.
Right.
When you get into your conference play. Because more than anything, your conference play is usually going to determine how well your season goes because you're not going to lose maybe those first 3 weeks. But when you schedule a tougher opponent, again, you can say what you want about Colorado. I don't think they're a tough opponent, but playing another Power 5 team in the Big 12 and wiping the floor with them looks good for Nebraska.
Well,
hopefully Colorado wins a few more games to help us look better.
Especially when they come out and
but also hopefully
win.
they suck and don't win any more games because that would be awesome too.
Well, especially when they come out and they win 28-9 in a rivalry game at Colorado State yesterday.
Yes.
As much as I don't want to cheer for them, it now that we're a ranked team, it actually helps us.
Agreed.
So
I talked about the Big Ten breakdown, and one thing I put on here was Wisconsin. I think they regret scheduling Bama. Washington lost the Apple Cup. And the Washington State coach is like, I think this is just going to stay with the Pac-12. It's going to stay here. But apparently there's a lot more history to the Apple Cup where it's not really a Pac-12 trophy, per se. It started well before the Pac-12 was developed. Either way, I'd be all for the Pac-12 keeping it and keeping it Washington State, whatever, because that rivalry is going away after this year. Purdue got spanked by Notre Dame. It was like 66-7.
Yeah, something like that.
So absolutely murdered. I think Notre Dame's a little bit pissed off about getting beat by Northern Illinois.
Big time.
Michigan only a 10-point win over Arkansas State. Not impressive. Just not.
No, the quarterback threw 3
impressive.
interceptions. They got USC coming in, and they're gonna get punched in the face again.
And they're
like
going to
by
USC,
Texas.
aren't they?
No, I think it's at
Michigan.
It's at Michigan.
I just think they're going to get.
Jason said it,
I think they're going to get rolled.
I think so too.
USC. I think from what I've seen from USC
USC
might be the best team in the Big Ten.
They might be the toughest team on our schedule. I know.
I think in the Big Ten.
I know Ohio State is Ohio State, and they're ranked higher at this point. And we play on the road at Ohio State and USC because we always have hard schedule like that. But those are definitely our 2 toughest matchups
100%.
this season, and they're both on the road.
UCLA is not good. They lost to Maryland. Or sorry, they lost to
they lost to Indiana.
Indiana, sorry.
Yeah, they got beat up.
17-point win for Iowa. We mentioned that again against Troy. Iowa, their defense, I think, is not as good as what everyone thinks they are. I think we actually might have the better defense. And we definitely
It's
have a better
still going to be a
offense.
tough one because it's going to be Iowa City, and that's a night game.
It's a night game.
The day after Thanksgiving.
We have won in Iowa City, though.
That we have
2 years ago.
last time that we played there, but it's going to be cold. That's going to, depend on where both teams are at. That's going to be really interesting and really fun.
Yep. Maryland got a 14-point win over Virginia. Then again, we mentioned Illinois, Oregon, Minnesota, Michigan State, Oregon, Northwestern, Maryland, all really smacked their opponents around, including that Big Ten matchup again. Indiana really spanked UCLA. UCLA is just not good. They're not. And
Oregon, I watched a decent amount of the first half anyway. Oregon looked more like what they thought they would at Oregon State in a big rivalry.
Was that 39-14 or something?
Yeah.
They won by three or four scores.
Yeah, I mean they Dylan Gabriel looked pretty good.
Yeah.
I still don't know they're going to be able to hang with Ohio State, but
I wouldn't even just say Ohio State.
Yeah,
I would say the rest of the Big Ten because
especially going on the road in November to whoever they have to play. I don't know their schedule.
Yeah, I still think Dan Lanning and I like him. I don't even hate Oregon, but you're coming into a conference that relies on so much on defensive play, so much on playing and relying on the trenches to win games.
Right.
Oregon is not the team that relies on the trenches to win.
You can't win with flash unless you have the best of the best.
So it'll be interesting because USC, their defense is a hell of a lot better than I thought they were going to be this year. So we'll see what Oregon and Dan Lanning bring to the Big Ten once they start playing Big Ten teams here. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
UCLA has not been good since Chip Kelly, 100% KZ. We're about a 1 hour mark. I don't have a whole lot else to say other than go Big Red. I mean, it's fun to be 3-0. It's fun to see the Huskers play football and win football games without even questioning, are we actually going to win this game against an opponent that's not as good as we are.
Right, and to be ranked, move up in the rank. It's fun to have that feeling of I can't wait to check the rankings.
Yeah.
I know Matt Rule said after the game, well, I don't even know if we'll be ranked, and it's like, bro, we're gonna be ranked,
bro.
But even my boss at work, he's not a big time football fan, but he's like, man, I can just like tell in the air, like I can just get a sense of people in the city that like everybody's more excited because Nebraska's good. And it was like, oh, that's kind of funny that you said that.
Yeah. And someone mentioned like, oh, drivers are a lot nicer on Sunday when we win. It's like, it's amazing. But that is a different attitude when your pro team is the Nebraska Huskers. That is your team. You treat it like a pro team, even though the kids younger, they're half our age. And so it's hard.
They really are.
It's hard to keep that in mind. But I do think what's going to happen on Friday, I think we'll win the game. I think we win by 10, 13.
Spread's 8.5.
But I also wouldn't be surprised if we win by 17. I think we could most definitely win by 2 scores in that game if we stick to the game plan and have a good second half.
Yeah, I guess I hadn't really thought about a score prediction. But 2 scores is pretty good. I could see like a 31-17. Maybe a 30, like you said, maybe we win by 17, maybe a 34-17, something like that. I can see that.
Yeah, you can see that. So I'm good with that. Yeah, Casey likes 34-17. Casey, I'm on board with you, man. I just think – I don't think we've pulled out everything that we can pull out so far. Right. I don't think we've used our weapons 100%.
We really haven't. And we haven't had to use them in the second half, so we could almost score more points than we have been scoring.
If we have an aggressive game plan going in the second half, we absolutely could win by 2 or 3 scores. I still think we're a damn good team. I still think we're damn better than Illinois, and I cannot stand Brett Bielema, and I hope he loses. I do not want to lose to Brett Bielema again, ever, as long as he's coaching. No matter who he plays, if we play them, we cannot lose to that guy.
Fair enough.
I just can't. I didn't like him in Wisconsin either. Didn't like Arkansas. He ran that program further into the ground, and I just don't. I don't think much of him. So.
Fair enough.
So I hope we get a couple scores. So
I'm usually right on who wins.
That's good. Hey, Terry, you're at least 3-0 on the Huskers this year. So congratulations. Yeah. Keep it up. Keep betting on the Huskers. We know Mike will. We know Brevin will. So again, I'm Matt.
I'm Jimmy.
We're 2 average guys. Wait, hold on. He didn't nothing. I got no comment on that, Casey. I just don't like the guy. But you know where actually, you know what? Is all those damn games we lost to Wisconsin over the last 14 years when they ran 400 yards on us. That's it.
It was the Melvin Gordon game?
Yeah.
That's a guy yet?
And I take that personal. I took that
was it
I'm keeping receipts.
Was it Melvin Gordon or was it Monte Ball?
Both of them.
Both of them.
I think Monte Ball set a record and then Melvin Gordon set a record back-to-back years or something. So, yeah, I'm pissed about it. I don't want to lose that guy anymore. Just can't do it. He touched me right here in the heart. I'm a diehard Husker fan.
Shooting for 4-0. All right, Kara.
All right, guys. Cheers. We'll finish off this picture. Mike, don't worry. I can't finish off another one by myself. Oh, you best believe. Go Big Red.
We'll see you next week.
I'm Matt.
I'm Jimmy.
2 average guys, Backswing Brewing. Y'all have a good rest of the day.
Come on, good game, everybody, yeah.
Pat, I think it's safe to say that all these fans came out here to watch a game of football.
John, ring commercial.
Yeah, I know, I'm just making conversation. Come on, football!
Come a-running, boys, don't you hear the noise? Like the thunder in the sky. How it rolls along in a good old song from the sons of Nebraska. Now it's coming near with a rising cheer that'll sweep all foes away. So with all our vim, we're about to win, and we're going to win today. In the days of old, Johnny Vanderbilt